Hi, welcome to my channel, and in the video today I wanted to talk about what it was like to go to school only being able to use one hand. And if I am looking down at all during this video, it's because I have some points here to make sure I don't leave anything out. So for starters, I always had accommodations throughout school. Some of them were things I used quite often, other things not so much, uh, because depending on how old I was or the activity, I required more help in some things than in others. One thing I recall using quite frequently is there were electrical pencil sharpeners in the room because I had trouble with the one that you crank because I couldn't hold the pencil in and crank it. And also, I would bring things from home, such as homemade clipboards that had non-skid things on the back, or different things that were magnetic that I demonstrated in my video on how to cut paper with one hand. My mom made those things for me, and I would bring them to school. And I would always meet with the teachers, my parents and I would, at the beginning of each school year, and we would talk about uh, what sort of accommodations I needed, and we sort of left certain things open to where if this becomes an issue, we'll talk more about it then, but this is a just in case thing. So we always had those things in place. And as I got older, I needed less and less help uh, because I can recall, I would say about middle school, I became more and more independent, and I needed less things, but they were still there just in case. And even into college, I've done that. Of there are accommodations put in place just in case I were to need any of them. And I think that that's very important. It's better to have it set up to where you can use it if you need to than to need it and not have discussed that. So I think that that's very important. And also, I think it's important to remember that, yeah, even things that you may struggle with now, because there are some things that I can do most things on my own, but there may be things that I'm still a little slow with, and I think it's important to remember just because you can't do it now doesn't mean you won't ever be able to do it. And that goes for everybody, uh, regardless of whether you have an injury or a condition. Everybody's good at some things and not so good at other things, and everyone can grow. Um, Also, when it comes to interacting with other kids in school, I was never really bullied for the way my hand looked or because I could only use one hand or anything like that. I think when I was in elementary school, there were other kids that didn't really understand. Maybe they didn't see somebody who had a hand that looked like mine before, so they may have said things. It's hard for me to remember just because I was so little then. Um, but I was never really harassed for it. But that's something that no one should stand for. If you're someone that can only use one hand, or someone who can only use one hand, and they're mistreated for it at school, it's important to talk to somebody about that. Or even if sometimes people may make comments or ask questions and may not mean anything by it, but hearing it constantly may get on your nerves. That could be an important thing to talk to teachers about, and something could be worked out with that. And I think that's pretty much it. Alright, so if you have any additional questions about anything or recommendations for videos, leave them in the comments sections and I'll take a look at them. If anyone has any ideas for future video topics, I would really appreciate it if you could leave me a suggestion. Sometimes it gets harder to think of new ideas for videos because I've been making videos for almost 6 years. sometimes I feel like I'm running out of ideas. But I'll see you next time.